All right. So check it out. Last night, I went through the trouble of setting up a Sass build and integrating that with Create React App project. And then I went through two different third-party libraries that aimed to bind React components to the Foundation CSS framework. And neither of them worked very well. And so as I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, I learned about Semantic Ui. And Semantic UI is pretty good. You see we have the React bindings right here. And we just have a huge list of widgets over here, and they all look pretty good and rich. And I really only care about tabs for right now, but there's just a ton of stuff. Yeah, and so that's all great. And so today at work, I went through basically the same process I did last night, but with this framework and the less style sheets that this framework supplies. And so, yeah, here's the other one that I use, right? Toggle. That looks okay. We'll try it out. So yeah, I'm gonna basically roll back pretty much everything that was done last night, and I guess that's kind of a good Git exercise, right? That's something, especially since I already merged all my stuff back to master. So let's take a quick look at the Git log. So I wanna take a look at this rev here, remove dead code, see what that was referring to, because I think add Sass support to the project. That's where I think this is where I want to basically start over from. We'll see. So I'm going to try and get show git show 828 1D. Yeah, that is totally dead. So and this is a little dangerous, but I'm gonna, I'm not sure if it's this rev or the next one that I want to reset to. I'm gonna try this one. So git reset 8281D, was that what I said? And where was the dead code that I was removing? It was in the collectible list. So let's take a look at collectible lists real quick. Oh, here it is. Is my dead code there? I don't see it. Okay, so I'm in the right place. I am right after the dead code removal happened, which is where I want to be. So from here I can make a new branch, I think. And I want to try and discard all of these changes, whatever they are. Let's see what happens. So that's some stuff that I actually would have retained. The redo of the get item details and all of that. We'll get back to that, I guess. We'll redo that refactor when the time is right. So that's me just reassuring myself that losing work is okay. That's a terrible attitude, but I mean, technically that's the whole aim tonight. So I got this branch, and now I gotta get stuff. So let's see. The gist of what's going to happen today. I am actually I'm gonna toggle the terminal down here. I'm gonna do this. Jesus. My Windows. There we go. I'm gonna do this in the PowerShell. So first of all, I want to check my package.json and make sure that it's got everything that I think it should have in there. I am going to refer back to the guide that I referred to last night. So let's see. So that was this one, where they talk about adding the extra scripts and setting up watches and stuff like that. I wish the motorcycle outside would fucking park. Get out of it. Just get out, man. God damn it. And so what else? So there's a list of things that I know that I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need less. I'm going to need less. I'm also going to need something called Chowkidar, which was kind of, there was a passing reference to this in the guide, that they talk about a fork of the SAS compiler, one that uses Chowkidar for the watches, and so I'm gonna use this package. There's actually there's a command line wrapper, so I'm going to npm install -d Chowkidar CLI. I think that's what it's called. No. Maybe that looks healthier. Windows is fucking terrible. Oh my god. So, I think there's a dot bin. Show me the help. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use to, and less C should also be here. There it is. All right. Interesting. So I don't know how to echo my path in Windows, but I thought for sure that I had set things up so that that stuff should be in my path the same way I do on Linux. But whatever. So there was also some plugins for less that I installed when I did this at work. But I'm going to try and excuse me, not use those this time around. To see if I can get a slightly different result. Maybe I'll like it better, and I'll change how I'm doing things back at work tomorrow. It's possible. Okay, so we got that. Oh, what else do we need? We need something called npm run all. And then I think that might be it. So I'm going to copy and paste the stuff out of the guide like I did yesterday. So I've got a couple of lines here. Let's just tidy this up a little bit. I guess that's right. And so these are wrong, right? Because these are all dealing with Sass. But I'm going to update them in just a sec. I'm also going to grab these ones. Start and build get replaced. And these should actually be correct so long as I modify the other ones nicely. And then also so that seems good. And then also I'm going to npm install some runtime dependencies. I need a Semantic Ui less, which is just a package distribution of all of the CSS for the framework in less form, which means that I can run it through a compiler. I can leverage the variables that are defined there and all of that. And I also want Semantic UI React. And I think that's all I need for the runtime stuff. My cat's up here on the desk. You can't see him, but he's being pushy. Trying to rub up against my arm while I'm typing. Yep. You're a pain. Okay, so let's see. So for the build CSS, we're going to be doing things a little different. We're going to be running less C, and we are going to give it an include path, which is going to be down to node modules, Semantic Ui less, and I think that's as far down as we need to go. And I'm going to feed it an input file, which is going to be source index.less, and then I'm going to give it also an output file, which is source index.css. And then there's one other flag that I want, which is relative URLs, I think. Let me check that. Oh, right. And the relative URLs flag should kind of normalize some of the pathing that we're going to have. It just seemed like it may not be important, actually. I'm going to leave it off for right now. Yeah. So I did that. I want to git move source index.css to source index.less. And I have some basic styles in here. Is that really all I have? Yeah, maybe. I thought I had more in there, but it's fine. Right, because I had all the colors and so on. Whatever, maybe that came later. Okay. I guess maybe I had app.scss. That was what I was looking at. I wonder why this stuff has foundation stuff in it. Doesn't matter. I don't need it. I don't need the app CSS. I don't need the app JS. I'm going to be focusing on the index stuff. I just want to make sure that the index CSS is being imported here just as normal. So this is going to be my main style sheet, and the less file here is going to basically import everything else that I'll need for my styles, and that'll get me some concatenation for free, sorta. Right, so with that, I should be able to add an import for, let's see, and I'm going to try this. I'm in source, so yeah, one up, Semantic Ui less, semantic. That's one thing I need. And I also want to visit this directory. And you'll see here that there's a theme config example. I need that, or I need a version of this that isn't an example up in, let's see, I guess I need it here in front end. So I'm going to trim off the .example part of the file name. I am going to add it, and then I'm going to edit it. So less, just like Sass, is a CSS preprocessor. That means that you can define variables that can be reused throughout the other style sheets that are in your final result. And so the big things that I need to look at here are to customize these folder paths. So I need to drill back down into the less sources in my node modules. I think that's right. Yeah. And this one can stay the same. So this is just a local directory where I can drop other variable files like this one. And so each of these is pulling in variables that correspond to the type of thing it is. And I can make CSS overrides per element, per container type deal, whatever. I can put overrides in this kind of directory structure. I'm not going to use it. I think the only other thing that I'm going to do is define a couple extra variables, which I could do in those override files, but I'm just gonna do it here. So let's see. What else? Theme. Default. Assets. Fonts, I think. This is pulling from memory, so I could be pretty wrong here. Let's see, maybe I can drop back in here for a second. So themes, fonts and images. I believe the variable name is correct. I think it's font path and image path. Should I be lining these up? I guess so. Seems appropriate. Mostly. These aren't lined up, so I guess I don't care that much. Okay. So back to the package.json. So that's build CSS is here. So I'm going to test it now that everything is kind of lined up. We'll see if the imports work. Okay, that looked like that went. Let's take a look at the CSS file and see if it's full of foundations, or excuse me, semantic stuff. And I also kind of want to look at any URLs that are in here. So we've got relative paths going back to node modules, And I expect that these paths will be rewritten when I do a full build. That's kind of what I was seeing the other way. And so the reason why, I guess I'll back up here for a second, but so what I did at work was I got a less plugin called, I think it was less plugin npm import, something like that. The idea was you could prefix any package name with a tilde, and it would resolve back to your node modules. And so this should break when I do a run build now, even though my editor understands that this is in my node modules. The compiler doesn't. And because I had these references to tilde package name, I had to use that -- relative URLs flag to convert this into a nice, like, regular path in the URLs, so that didn't break also. But yeah, I think this is nicer. This is more explicit and more navigatable, so I can jump into the directory like I've been doing here. I don't know. This seems better, and it's one less package to install, so that's always good. Right. So we tested the static build once task that we have here in our scripts, and now I need a watch version, which is actually going to be a little more simple than the example they gave. It's going to be, if I can spell that right, and I think I need to look at the usage again. Okay. So it takes a pattern and then options. So the pattern is going to be source, and really I want any less file below source, because that's where I'll be making my edits. Hey Charmless, spell the fuck out of it. Yeah, I'm forever the terrible typist. That's for sure. Okay, so what's the command? The command is just going to be npm run, and I guess I'm going to do build CSS and leverage the task above. Okay, and so with all of that, I should be able to npm run start the way I used to. And it should do an initial compile of my style sheets as the server starts up. Can't resolve app.css. Yeah, I don't want that. Do not want app.css. So I must have an import in here left over. Get wrecked. Don't need, don't want. Charmless, by the way, did you pre-order Destiny 2? Yes, I did. I pre-ordered it twice. I got it for PlayStation 4 and PC. expect more live coding of terrible apps that I might make based on the new Bungie APIs. I might do PC later. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't really know if I'll prefer PC. I kind of doubt it. Destiny for me long term has always been about sitting on the couch and shooting the shit and shooting the other shit on the TV. Okay, good. So this all seems to be functioning. We've got a noticeable change in the typeface here, but everything else appears to be functioning the way I want it. And now I should be able to come back in here and make some changes to the style sheet. I need a color. Let's see. Switch this up and do crimson. And so the hope is that the watch would see the change in the style sheet there and then recompile, but that doesn't appear to be happening. And shit, I bet that... Could that be because I'm in Windows? Is this a Windows thing? Is the file system shitty enough that it can't figure this out? Well, there is an option here. I could and I guess I'll try it. So there's meant to be a flag to basically do a manual pull. It'll stat the files on an interval. And that's meant to be for when you're working with files on a network file system, something that can't something that, okay, so that's interesting. Something that can't communicate file system events as readily. I'm looking for a reference to the color. What the fuck is going on out there? I don't see it. So this was on collectibles H4, which is this one. Dark magenta is there. So I guess what I'll do is move the browser aside, and I'll try and watch CSS directly. So, Charmless, did Moody really get into Destiny 1? I only remember hooking up with you guys a couple of times, and he didn't seem that taken. All right, Stanley, just quit your. Ugh. You're so big. What do you think you're doing? Look in my arm. So I don't think this is doing anything. It didn't appear to do the initial build. It says it's watching, but maybe Chalkidar just doesn't do anything on Windows. Do they talk about that at all? Well, they talk about other platforms. Well, they talk about cross-platform, which I feel like has to include Windows, because Linux and Mac are so similar. So Nody played a little, wasn't enamored. Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got. He sounded like he was humoring you. So let's see. What else can I do here? I can adjust the glob. Maybe, oh, wait. Yeah, that's a typo right there. Maybe he was including that tick in the pattern, which wouldn't match anything. Yikes. There we go. NPM not recognized. Okay. Really? Well, that's lame. Again, I think this is the I think this is the ticks. So what? I need to backslash some double quotes here. God, fucking Windows. Ugh. Now we're in business. All right. Much better. So if I do npm run start now, hopefully the stuff that I want to happen will actually happen. All right, there we go. We got some crimson happening. And now I'm looking for the live update. So let's flip it around to Chartreuse, an old favorite. And maybe I can drop the polling flag now. There's definitely an added startup cost for building the style sheets when the dev server starts, but it's way better to pay that cost consistently than to basically accidentally think that your style sheets look one way when the sources have changed and the result hasn't been rebuilt. So dark slate blue. All right, without the polling. All right, we're getting there. Great. So let's see. We got rid of app.css. Don't want it. Don't need it. I renamed index.css to index.less. I also want to add source index.css to my ignore patterns, because that's a generated file. We don't want to be checking it in when stuff happens, so okay. So checking the diff, actually the theme config is good, I know that, and it's brand new and it's huge because I just copied it in, so I'll go ahead and add that before I look at the diff. So here's the remainder. We installed new packages. We got Semantic Ui less. We got Semantic Ui React. We added the new script entry points. We also added a less compiler, npm run all, and Chokidar CLI. I moved the styles that used to be in app.css into index.less. So that's there. There's no new line at the end of the file. I will add a new line. And I will also pull the white space out of here. I didn't really need to add that. All right, Charmless, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. And I think we're in good shape. What is all this garbage? These tilde files, are these swap files from the Windows version of Vim? Are they using tilde and untilde as a file extension? That's crazy. It's not very Vim. Jesus. All right. So there we go. So what I'd like to do now is to get checkout master, and I'm tempted like how offensive was all of that work that I did last time, because it's going to conflict with what I have now. And you know what? I mean, this is ultra rude and destructive, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to git reset hard the hash, which is 828d1d, and then I'm going to merge semantic onto this, and then I'm going to push -f back to the repo. Get fucked. Bye bye, Foundation. Bye bye. Foundation can get fucked. All right. So what does this stuff even look like right now? Pretty terrible. That's old. It's not right. I turned off the app because I was doing Git. So turn it back on. So there we are. This is the state of play. And so one of the last things that I worked on last night was to try and get a tabbed interface working. And so I've got a whole new framework now that I need to get familiar with. So I got to look this up. So with tabs, let's take a look at one of the examples. The docs for Semantic are pretty good. They will show you the generated HTML, which is kind of nice, or close to it, I guess. And also the React, the JSX code that would be used. So I don't know. This I'm just going to grab this. I don't want what they have here, but I'll work with it as a start. So let's see. I'm going to put a lot of the stuff away now. So this is where the tabs go. Yep. So let's see, what do I have in the buffer here? I've got some imports, which are not written the way I want. I don't need to import Reacts. I have tab, but it's a good practice to import components. Let's see. Maybe this is it elements? I think they have a little reference to what area of the code base a thing belongs to. So modules. That's okay. Tab. Right. So because the way the Webpack tree shake routines work, if you import from the top level of a package, like it's common practice for the very top level of a package to kind of import everything that it's got inside of itself up to that top level to make it super convenient. So it's like one place where you can import everything from. So the problem with importing from a point like that is the tree shaking code, which is responsible for hunting down all the JavaScript code that is absolutely essential, that needs to be bundled into your app. It can't tell the difference between the stuff that you pick from that big collection and the other stuff that just happens to be there. And so a way that you can get around that is by importing from the deep paths in the library. And so if I look at the source for tab, it's importing from somewhere else. And what else is in here? It's got some dependencies on some other stuff. And so this is what Webpack would be doing. It would be following all the imports that each of the imports import. It traces the dependency graph. And so by letting it do this, it basically reduces a bunch of the code that it would otherwise just be taking at face value and importing, and that would bloat up your app. So deep paths. That's my pitch. Import from the deep. And a lot of like project readmes and stuff, they'll show you importing from that top level because it's convenient and it's a lot more succinct. But don't let that tempt you or something. So let's try and tidy this up a little bit. Let's pick out the stuff that I really need. And we'll see if things compile. What? Yeah, that's true. Okay, so here's the tabs, and these work correctly, unlike the foundation library that I was trying to use. Which was great. So I only need 2 of these, and let's see. I find it odd that I need to return a function, a render function. I don't know how it's instantiating these components. This is kind of weird, but I guess I'll work with it. And I hope that the store bind continues to work with this. I guess I don't need that. So what do we get now? Seems to work. And I think I will actually reverse these. I'll do the collectibles first, and items and zones. And the store data seems to be flowing down through to all of this, which is great. So I guess that's success. Yeah, I mean, that works. So I'm going to open up another PowerShell. So I can do some Git without killing my server. All right. Okay. I bet I could God, Windows, you're such a freak. Holy shit. Yeah, do that. I'll leave a little gap open there in the middle. Okay. Windows. It's a hostile work environment for a software engineer, in my opinion. I just find it really abrasive in so many different ways. So we got tabs. The next thing I want is like a checkbox, and there was a thing about making these like a toggle. So let's see how that shakes out in the example. Checkbox toggle. Okay. Are there any cool, any other cool visualizations? Not really. Fitted. Okay. So here's the example. I guess this is what I need, and that's not even correct. I need, oh, it's another module. Okay. So we'll go and look at the collectible item, and this will bring us back hopefully to that that change handler refactor that I did. So I'm going to rewrite this import. We're going to go to dist, which is the ES6, or excuse me, the ES5 compiled version of their code, and then I have to pick the type of packaging that I support. We go with CommonJS, modules, and what am I looking for? A checkbox. Okay. Okay. So checkbox toggle seems seems like that didn't do anything for anyone. Okay. Windows. I don't know what's happening here. All right, well, there's the toggle. And now if I look at the properties in the docs here. So we've got on change. This looks like it's pretty much the same. There's a synthetic event, and so if I go back up to collectible list, this is where the handler comes in. And so I'm going to rewrite this to be item, like I did last night. And so we're going to dispatch item.id and item.collected. and then I'm going to flip it. And then I'm going to get rid of the parsing. And then I go back in here and throw all that away. And so now, if I open up the dev tools again, oops, and we can observe the XHR traffic. Got a 404. So what did I send? Ah. Item ID is null. Oh, right, yeah, because I need to discard the event, and I need to call this directly, but with props item. The value of collected, because it was undefined, flipped to true, which is awesome. So okay, we're getting 200s back, and we're still getting the alternating long and short response times. Crazy. So what about the label? I would like the label to activate the toggle like I had before. So we'll see, maybe this label property will generate something. Oh, okay. I guess that's fair. Do it on the left. Oh, that's weird though. These seem backwards. Also, this is wrong. Something's pretty messed up here. Oh, I get it. Right. So we need the property. We need the property to set the checked value. We lost that. Hopefully that'll fix us up. Great. Okay. Yeah, it's a little jarring when a group of toggles jumps back up. when it goes from being entirely complete to incomplete. That's something that I will just have to deal with, I think, since it's by design. So I did it to myself is what I'm saying. Yeah. I almost wish I could delay it somehow. Or do like a transition, a fade out, fade in kind of thing. I bet there's stuff for that. I don't know. What would it be called? I don't know. Oh well. It's just something to figure out. I would also kind of like to float up the groups that that have something active for the current zone, I guess. I should look at adding that in to the sort. Because I think that's going to be the main workflow, is working through the game, advancing through each area, flipping back and forth. The keyboard navigation is going to be a must. I got to hook that up next. But okay, this all looks pretty good. Hi, Stan. How you feeling? Have you enjoyed being out on the balcony? I hope so. God, you're shedding like crazy. Okay. Stan, move it. Move it. All right. So, checking the diff. So yeah, I think we basically just replaced our traditional checkbox with this custom one, and it all seems like it's working. The data is going through to the database. Everything's good there. We redid that refactor, so our on toggle is taking an item. It doesn't care about the event. Yep. So, okay. All right, well, so there's going to be some some style work that needs to get done. I think now that I've adopted a framework that's going to give this a look and feel, maybe what I want to do is start actually laying this stuff out the way it should be, and removing the silly colors and all of that. I could also think about getting into the collapsible sections. I know that there's an accordion component as a part of this framework, but it's a strict accordion. It's a one section only open at a time, I think, based on the examples I saw. But I can take a quick look at it and see if there's a property or something that I can set to allow multi opens. But yeah, I think tomorrow night I'll look at getting into the keyboard navigation, which is going to be high on my list. And I may also forget using the toggle UI. I think having the check mark there is kind of nice. It's simple. It's simple. I don't think there's what am I looking at here? I don't really see anything. I'm looking for positioning info, like orientation for the label. Like if I wanted to flip it around so that the box was on the right. I could probably just look at the CSS selectors and then float it around or something. Yeah, I could float the input over to the right. That's an option. But I'm surprised that there isn't just something to do it. Nothing stated. Yeah, I'll look into that. I mean, I totally get the choice. It's way easier to put the checkbox on the left because the checkbox is going to be a uniform size. The length of the label could vary. So, I mean, you know, unless we put the checkbox flush on the right-hand side, however wide this thing is, there's no neat way to like line them up, which is super appealing visually. Having the ragged edge be where your checkbox is going to be annoying. I don't know. I get it, but definitely keyboard nav. I need that. I need that for sure. But okay, I'm going to look at that tomorrow. And I'm just going to sign off for now. Shorter stream than the past couple, I think, but That's only because I already did all of this stuff earlier today. So tomorrow night should be more of an adventure. So hope to see you then. Take care. Good night.